because every lake or a pond is a habitat, and it's not just another pit with water, right? It's actually a world in its own self. A freshwater crab to aquatic life ranging from fish, a frog to the pond turtles, to the different kinds of vegetation that grows around a water body, in the water. So it's a water world in itself, and the lakes and the ponds in these cities bring character to that city. Yes, they give a whole new identity. That is exactly what happens in a lake restoration. Every single lake or a pond which has been through exploitation or abuse has to be treated uniquely. The garbage issue is something which we first try to fix. The sewage issue is something which we next try to fix. Then the storage capacity based on the silt, sand, clay composition of the water body. How do you deepen the water body? Getting the embankments, structural integrity of the water body re-established, regulating the inflow and the outflow, and creating nesting patterns for different life to thrive. Frogs, snake to birds, which are all egg laying of different kinds, for them to thrive. A percolation trench and recharge well, which will take the water ground below, right? And creating lines of defense for the water body so that it's capable of protecting its own self in more ways than one. Almost everybody is waiting for somebody to start nature conservation. The only question we have is, why can't we become that somebody?
Hello and welcome to GoGreenGuru Sustainability in Action. I'm your host Ananya Sangameshwar. Do like, share and subscribe to our channel to support our work and stay in touch, because we have some wonderful stories coming up for you. So if you've ever gone around in Chennai or most Indian cities, you would have seen some beautiful artwork on the walls with environmental messages, with birds and beauties of nature. So there are many organizations which should have been a part of it, and EFI would be one of them. So Environmentalist Foundation of India is an organization which is doing incredible work in lake and pond restoration, citizen engagement, community engagement, share art. There's so many things, and it's really inspiring to see that momentum building up. Now they're also trying to build in the next generation of leaders, so who can take the environmental movement forward. We're all about walking the talk. Hello Arun sir, welcome to GoGreenGuru podcast. I'm so glad to have you here. I've loved your energy. I met you at the India Environment Masterclass which your team had conducted. It was full of energy and enthusiasm.
Actually, I'm excited to be part of this conversation with a young person such as you. Whenever I've tuned into podcasts, people are either talking about other social issues, or people are even talking politics, movies, and more. When I bumped into you, and where you actually told me that you run a podcast which is focused on sustainability, I got completely thrilled. And more strength to you. May you grow in power, in energy, and continue to do this and inspire many more people.
Thank you so much, sir. It means a lot. Yes. So please tell me more about yourself. How did you get interested in working on environment? How did that happen?
Mine is a simple story, similar to almost every Indian middle class family story. Yes, a family of four where both parents are working in the suburbs of Chennai. I grew up, and we grew up with very limited resource as a family. Yes, exorbitant sophistication. All this was something which you didn't know until a really long time later. Yes, and while growing up, you had what you needed, and you were technically living life like that, but it was a beautiful life. Yes, a close knit family in the suburbs, and a lot of trees around in the neighborhood. Yes, freshwater bodies, lots of lakes and ponds. Chennai is paradise. Yes, a coastal city with so many freshwater bodies. My house was close to a hill, large lake, many small ponds, lots of palm trees. That's how I grew up. and to see how the suburban ponds were turning from a nature paradise to becoming an urban dump yard was the tipping point, was the turning point. So almost all of us would want to initiate action and move towards protecting what we really like when it's
Yeah,
threatened, right?
very
In my
true.
case, the same. It was the pond. A pond that I really cherished, grew up with, was being slowly converted into a dumping space where people were throwing garbage. So, bunch of us got together, cleaned it. One thing led to another. Today, we are called the Environmentalist Foundation of India (EFI), and we are almost in 18 states. And EFI by itself is 17 years old now as a professional, fully functional environmental organization. I'm 37 and my volunteering started when I was close to around 11 or 12. And my college, my school all played a big role in grooming me into a individual who uh, can take action and who will be nature friendly. So I've been blessed with wonderful human beings all along who have supported and stood by me in me doing whatever I'm doing.
Kudos to you. Very happy to hear that story, like how you actually took action and you've been, and it's really inspiring your organization's journey. I'd love to know more about EFI's story. How
So
did that start?
EFI,
Yeah.
it's simple, right? Almost all of us want to take action, but we don't know where to start, right? We are caught in our regular routine. We all have family pressure. We all have career pressure. Beyond all of this, we have the modern human psychological pressure of wanting to look good and be fit and then be rich and be technically sound and having cleared all those big exams. So these are regular pressures that we all live with. But despite all of this, we all want to also do good, be good, but we don't know where to start. We don't touch upon the regulars of human life, the conventions, but we are rather trying to provide a platform for those who want to initiate action, right? And who want to actually be a part of a movement. That is what EFI is. Almost everybody is waiting for somebody to start nature conservation. The only question we have is, why can't we become that somebody? And the place where you go to become that somebody is EFI, real time, result oriented nature conservation. And what EFI believes in is simple as this: no hero worship, one man, one woman who did everything. No, planet is the cause is the hero, real time, result oriented work that we all have to sustainably continue to do all through. That is what EFI is. We are worried about the Great Indian Bustard. We are worried about the lakes and the ponds. We are worried about the neem tree. We are worried about the owl. We are worried about the snake. We are worried about the gecko. And we want to support some bit of it through our efforts and work. That's what EFI is.
Very inspiring that you're a take action organization. So please tell me more about what you've been working on, especially lake restoration, marine restoration, all of that, different activities.
Lake pond restoration is our primary project. Yes, our big focus lies in the fact that protecting freshwater bodies such as lakes and ponds is crucial, because every lake or a pond is a habitat, and it's not just another pit with water, right? It's actually a world in its own self. A freshwater crab to aquatic life ranging from fish, a frog to pond turtles, to the different kinds of vegetation that grows around a water body, in the water. So it's a water world in itself, and just treating it as a recreation spot or a dump yard bothers me majorly. And our forefathers, foremothers have always taught us the way forward, that without water there's no life, and respect to water cannot be compromised, and that all of us have a role in protecting what is left. That is where our focus is also towards lakes and ponds. Chennai, Coimbatore, Tirunelveli, Hosur, Kadalur, Thoothukudi, Madurai, Sivagangai in Tamil Nadu, Trivandrum in Kerala, Bangalore, Hubli, Mysore, Shimoga, and Belgavi in Karnataka, Vishakhapatnam, Vijayawada, Nellore in Andhra Pradesh, Adilabad, Hyderabad in Telangana. Like this in Maharashtra, Gujarat, Punjab, Haryana, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, and Odisha. In all these states, we are focusing in specific regions in adopting and protecting threatened freshwater bodies. So far, EFI has restored 463 lakes and ponds, and we have adopted 77 government land parcels where we are growing urban forests. Yes, and we are creating these large forest patches so they become a biodiversity. Our focus is wildlife conservation, habitat restoration, and we start this with lakes and ponds.
Beautiful. So, yeah, when I also been to lakes, and I've now only started noticing how much life is there in just one space, right? It's like mind blowing.
It's
We
magic.
don't even
Yes.
notice it most of the time.
Yes.
So, tell me what goes into a lake restoration? How do you actually go about it?
Super. I've always told people, whoever asked me this question, think of us running a hospital, right? And in that hospital, you'll suddenly have somebody who's very old and who's almost in the tail tip of their life journey, but they'll come in with some chronic disease, right? And all that you can do is ease their pain and maybe somehow ensure that it's a smooth passing, right? Not that we want them to pass away, but what else to do? That's life. There'll be somebody who will come who's very young, who will come in with a major injury. There'll be somebody who's very old, who will come in with a minor injury. And you'll have different kinds of patients walking into the hospital with different kinds of ailments. Some people, with one pill everything is done, you can go back home and lead your regular life. Some people, prolonged treatment, prolonged medication. That is exactly what happens in a lake restoration. Every single lake or a pond which has been through exploitation or abuse has to be treated uniquely. The garbage issue is something which we first try to fix. The sewage issue is something which we next try to fix. Then the storage capacity based on the silt, sand, clay composition of the water body. How do you deepen the water body? Getting the embankments, structural integrity of the water body re-established, regulating the inflow and the outflow, and creating nesting patterns for different life to thrive. Frogs, snake to birds, which are all egg laying of different kinds, for them to thrive. A percolation trench and recharge well, which will take the water ground below, right? And creating lines of defense for the water body so that it's capable of protecting its own self in more ways than one. An outer fencing, which will keep away any kind of miscreants or encroachment, and preparing the water body for climate based catastrophes which we don't even know. To a certain extent, 20 centimeters rainfall in 24 hours, 30-centimeter rainfall in 24 hours. Our urban lakes in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai ready for it. And what restoration we do, can we anticipate it? All of this goes into the restoration of the lake. The most important, crucial towards the end, community sensitization, hydro literacy, and community engagement. Almost everybody wants a jogging track, paver block pathway, ice cream stall, parking yard, and a lake park, like in Madiwala. And then they go eat there and throw the garbage into the lake. Nobody understands lake is a habitat, it's a hydro habitat, and it will lead to flooding and drought if we don't treat the lake properly. Our groundwater will get depleted. So, literacy and sensitization is the most crucial part of a lake restoration for us.
Absolutely agree. So, how do you actually sensitize people about this? How do you build that community engagement for a lake to get
Very
people to be
easy.
stewards of that lake? Yeah.
Very easy in India, not to use art. Yes, we have a whole concept called environmentainment. Environment that's entertaining. Because I'm competing with the Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, the Honorable Leader of Opposition, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, because both of them occupy almost everybody's head. From Karnataka to Tamil Nadu to Andhra to Gujarat, different politicians and politics is what dominates our top of the mind thinking. After this, there is movies from Mr. Shah Rukh Khan to Miss Anushka Sharma to Mr. Virat Kohli to Mr. Rajinikanth. All these entertainers are actually in people's head, right? So I have to first get people to think beyond politics, movies, and get them to reality. Nothing wrong with politics and movies. I'm saying I'm competing with politics and movies to find mind space in people's head to talk about lakes and ponds, right? And then we are looking at public wall painting. Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Indore, Guwahati, wherever you'll find EFI's wall paintings across the city. EFI's YouTube is a very active space where we keep uploading documentaries. We run a series called Hydrostan, which is India's water stories. It's nice snippet documentaries we run, right? We do street theater, Nukkad Natak. In Tamil, we have call it Terukuthu, Veedi Nadagam, and all this keeps happening in Chennai, Hyderabad, in all these places. Then we also do nature quiz. We extensively use social media. At EFI Volunteer is our handle. And if anybody goes into our social media, they'll see how we are running quiz, how we are doing a lot of nature based stuff. And the India Environment Masterclass that you were part of. We take it to different cities, we bring youth, and we do a gamification model. We run what is called as conservation cafe in corporate offices, where we get employees to be part of a nature discussion. So entertainment for environment, so that public sensitization is achieved for conservation. That is the goal.
Yeah, that's a really interesting model. I've seen EFI's paintings across, even when I've been in Chennai and all. It's really beautiful paintings. Lot of
Thank you.
knowledge also we get to learn about these species. So that's really interesting.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, art is a really good tool, definitely. So how do you think like we can engage people within a space? Like suppose there are people in a certain area, how can we encourage people to have stewardship of that place? Ki, okay, I'll take care of this. This is a place where I belong to. How can we connect it?
Household and institution based waste management can be done by almost everybody without much hassle. Yes. Minimalism, consumption, regulated consumption is also something which almost everybody can start. How many pieces of clothing in a year are you buying? How many times are you actually using your mobile device to order something digitally, food to apparel to electronics? Are you consuming for need? Are you consuming for greed? Are you consuming because of boredom? These are self regulations that we can bring about. Schools can try to become waste neutral establishments. Schools and universities and workplaces can become water conserving establishments. Families can actually adopt practices which will benefit nature. Nobody has to teach us all of this. We just have to think and immediately start implementing.
Yeah, superb. It all starts at home in our own life itself, right? Our waste lands up in who knows where. We don't even know.
Yes.
That's the problem today. Yeah. So why do you think lake restoration is important? Like suppose I'm a common person, I'm like, Array, I have so much busy life, I have this, that. So how how do you think you would talk to such a person?
Chennai and Bangalore, or even Hyderabad for that matter, Coimbatore, Tirunelveli for that matter, these cities, I'm in love with these urban spaces. And I've spent extensive time in all these cities that I just mentioned. The lakes and the ponds in these cities bring character to that city. Yes, they give a whole new identity. When you drive around Alsuru Lake or Hebbal or Devnahalli in Bangalore, Kapra, Gurunadam Cheruvu, Gangaram Cheruvu, Hakimpet Lake in Hyderabad. I didn't even mention Hussain Sagar because there are so many more beautiful lakes also in Hyderabad. Not that Hussain Sagar is not, but it's brilliant. Madambakam, Keelkattalai, Morai, Ariyalur lakes of Chennai. These lakes bring character. These lakes bring a kind of uniqueness to these cities. When these cities get flooded, it's because we have not taken care of the lake. The common man is getting flooded simply because these lakes and ponds have not been cared for. The common man has a drinking water issue because these lakes are not cared for, right? The common man does not have a free green space to go unravel his own or her own life because they don't have the lake cared for. Common man and woman will benefit psychologically, fitness wise, drinking water wise, prevent flooding wise, in all these aspects, better life through a protected lake, right? I'll give you the example of Bangalore. 2023 May, abnormal rains in Bangalore. The Madiwala subway is actually full almost, right? A young lady driving with her family after getting her first month's salary unfortunately loses her life at Madiwala because her car got stuck in that subway because of flooding. A few months later, few weeks later, Bangalore starts to report lack of water, and then it's all over the place. How can Bangalore go from one extreme of flooding, which kills a young working professional, to going to no water available for people? And if such extremities are the ones between which we are going to live our regular life, then what are we talking about? That's what we've come up with the concept. The Hindi letters of and bh, and then the English word of normal. Abnormal. Abnormal has become abnormal ho gaya types. Yes, abnormality is become our new normal. How is this acceptable? We are taxpayers. We are educated. We all have opinions on everything from who should contest against who in the US elections. That is how globally involved we are. Shouldn't we care about lakes in our neighborhood and backyard? It's high time we did that.
Very true. And yeah, when we actually start being connected to our spaces, like life becomes much more meaningful, right? Otherwise it's just we are just going on some track, we don't even realize what we're doing otherwise.
Yes.
Hmm. So how can someone actually get involved in a lake restoration? What are the steps they need to take, like, to actually do something like this? Someone wants to start something also.
Scientific
Hmm.
approach, working with the government. There is no bigger unifying agency than the government. Reach out to the local government first, then study properly how to restore the lake. Be scientific about it. Be honest with the resources that are at your disposal when you're using it for the lake restoration. Ensure there is a team and a community that is working with you. Then follow the modes of restoration, get it done. And if they're still interested, they can contact you and me. We'll work with them.
Yes, definitely. It starts with an intention and then things start take off from there, I think.
Yes, ma'am.
What was your first lake restoration?
Oh,
How was that? How did you start that whole thing? Yeah.
we actually did a pond restoration in Muduchur. Then we took up a lake restoration at Arasan Kalani. One thing led to another. The Keelkatale Lake, the Madambakam Lake, the Sittalapakam Lake, the Makarba Lake of Ahmedabad, the Musi Rani Sagar Stepwell of Alwar, Rajasthan, the Bandhara Lake in Vidarbha, Maharashtra, the Alasanatham Lake of Hosur, the Udayarpatti Lake of Tirunalveli, different water bodies across from the Kanhadia Lake in Indore or the Tigaria Badsha in Indore, the Chota Bilavli in Indore. I can keep naming all the 463 water bodies. Such phenomenal habitats I've had the exposure to be at, and to I consider it as a blessing to have had an opportunity to work on these water bodies.
Superb. And you mentioned about Hydrostan and you shared some interesting stories even at our meetup. So, what's your favorite water story?
The Bangara Doddi story from Mysore of a young woman getting an aqueduct established by standing up against the untoward advances of the king back then, which is a still a canal that runs to date. The Bangara Doddi canal and the brave Bangara Doddi. Story number one. Story number two, my life hero Kalingarayan, the water saint, the man who brought a linking canal between two rivers, tributaries of the Kaveri. And the third most interesting story would be from Pondicherry, of that of Ai Ammayar, who actually established a pond. Stepwells of Gujarat, Rajasthan, temple tanks of Karnataka, Andhra, Tamil Nadu, the spring sheds of Sikkim, water bodies of Bengal and Odisha, the community neighborhood water bodies. I can actually continue. The Hasdio Bango, the Narmada Canal, the Kannadian Kalvai, the Ami Irinjan Todu of Thiruvananthapuram. Oh, the simple thing, no? Why is it called the Ama Irinjan Todu? Because it drags itself like a turtle and goes very slow. So the Todu means a water body that runs. That's what they said in Malayalam. Said Ama Irinjan Todu, for anybody who speaks a little Tamil and understands Malayalam, it technically means the dragging turtle water body. What beautiful water stories from across this country. Kashmir to Kanyakumari, Ladakh to Lakshadweep, Arunachal to Andamans, Gujarat to Manipur. Non-stop, we can keep talking.
Yeah, superb. So, listeners, do check out the YouTube channel Hydrostan, some beautiful stories there. So, yes. So how do you think we can build a culture of volunteering and also leadership? What makes a leader or what makes a volunteer? How to go
schools
about it? Yeah.
schools and universities a lot more interaction with young people, and to give them hope, not to scare them, not to paint an apocalyptic future, doomsday rubbish and all. No, it's a beautiful planet. It's a resilient planet, and we have what the planet feeds us. So we should be positive, resilient, work towards India and her environment together, and know this one man one woman heroism together is when we can actually get a lot of things done. Teamwork is the key to conservation. Sustained effort is what is the need of the hour. Enough of all the talking, let's get to action.
Absolutely. Action is the way to go, and scientific action. So what else would you like to share
legally
message to our
legally
listeners? Yes.
legally correct scientific action.
Oh yes. How can someone learn about this actually? Do you have any resources? How can someone know about how to go about it?
Just spend a little bit more time. For example, who does the lake
Hmm.
belong to? Which government authority should I approach? Where should I get permission? What is limnology? What is lake restoration? What kind of trees to plant? It takes time. It's not a 2 minute noodle that can be cooked, right? It takes a little bit time. With careful investment of time, all of this can be learned. All resources are available in the open web. Just patient reading is good enough.
And of course, collaboration. Each of us have different skills, different talents,
Yes,
and
yes,
also like personalities, all of that. So each one of us can share and do things together without too much
100,
burden on one person also. Yeah.
100% yes.
So teamwork. Yes. So what is your message for our listeners? What else would you like to share?
First message would be that young people like Ananya should definitely be supported, for the simple reason it takes a lot of courage to actually get out there and be the champion for sustainability. And the fact that you are shouldering this responsibility of running this podcast and trying to take this message of conservation forward, don't ever feel demotivated, let down, or alone. Yes, we are always there to watch, and we are always there to share your content, Ananya. So that is my first message, where everybody should support people like you and many others. I'll tell you the story of a young lady called Vinay Surbi. I am going to introduce her to you, to Ananya. Yes, she is a young lady who started following EFI from Gujarat, from Morbi. Yes, not Vardwan in Gujarat. And she actually then went on to become a teacher who started teaching nature in her locality. She on her own initiated action, doing cleanups, wall paintings, and more. Then one day she also ensured that she equipped herself. Now she's gotten an admission in a college to do psychology, where she wants to, I'm sure she will invest her life only for the planet. People like Vinay Surbi, Ananya, or many others should be supported and should feel that they have people behind them. That's request number one. Request number two, just because we can talk loud and walk straight, if we think we are the superior species, that's absolute rubbish. We don't know without electricity how to get drinking water. We don't know how to produce our own food without somebody else toiling in the sun. We are all big, opinionated individuals. I controlled my tongue, not use any other word. We're all opinionated individuals in the modern world, where we have an opinion and judgment on almost every aspect of life. Calm down. Yes, please calm down. There is nothing bigger than the planet. It's a humble request. Step out and volunteer. Don't worry too much. It's a beautiful world. Together, let's actually be a happy bunch that can actually deliver results when it comes to nature, is the humble request.
Absolutely. So how can people volunteer with EFI? Could you share?
indiaenvironment.org. indiaenvironment.org is our website. It's very simple. India for our country, environment for the planet. indiaenvironment.org. When they go into the contact us tab, they'll find my own number, my very direct number and email ID. And we also have a volunteer registration form. and they can definitely follow us from there and reach out.
Yes, and I believe you keep having lots of cleanups across across cities, different places. So yes, encourage everyone, whoever is near that place, to join in. You post about the cleanups on your social media page as well, right?
We do.
EFI volunteer. What's the social
At
media?
EFI volunteer. That's all.
EFI volunteer. Awesome. So yes, thank you so much, Arun sir. I'm so glad to have this conversation with you today, and your story is really inspiring. That you take action, and you're inspiring so many people also to take action. Thank
I
you.
wish you more success, more strength, a lot more energy, and I'm waiting for the day when we actually get to work together.
Oh
Thank you for
yes,
giving us an opportunity in your podcast.
thank you so much. Looking forward to working with you. And that was the episode with EFI, Environmentalist Foundation of India. What an incredible story. So I hope you check out their channel, Hydrostan, the water stories, and stay in touch with their work so that you can join in for the next lake cleanup or environment masterclass or any kind of event. Let's build the next generation of leaders. That can be you too. Do like, share, and subscribe to GoGreenGuru and continue to listen to and engage with more such stories. Until then, have a great time. Bye.